So when you look at the motorcycles in the naked category, the superbike naked category, there are quite a few motorcycles in the market, right? You're looking at the Triumphs, the Suzukis, and right here we have the Kawasaki's. Well, this might be the Z900, but the Z has evolved over the last few decades. You're looking at the Z125 and all the way to a ZH2. But something that's more affordable, something that's more pocket friendly is what we all looked at, and that is where Kawasaki came up with the Z800 a few years ago. And then that evolved to this beautiful machine here, the Z900. So we have Mr. Vishnu here, who's picked up this motorcycle a couple of months ago, and he's done a few thousand kilometers, and this is what he has to say. My name is Ajit, this is Bikenbiker, and welcome to the first ride experience of the Kawasaki Z900.
Hey, hi everyone, I'm Vishnu. I've been riding, pretty much started my biking career about 2 decades back. I started with the Suzuki Samurai, Shogun, and then went on to Thunderbird, and then the Classic 350, and then I had the Dominar 2016-2017 model for a few years. Then I went for the upgraded Dominar 2019 GS edition, and then I finally landed up with the Z900 that you can see next to me, right? That's a little bit of myself. So today here I'm to talk about the new 2023 Z900 Kawasaki edition, right? And this bike is something which I had in my mind for a long time, and I finally made it this year, and I picked up this version. Having ridden the Ninja 1000 SX, which my brother rides, I decided to go for this. So my primary reason was something that I wanted to go for, a long distance touring, and I was more inclined towards the naked bikes because that is something that was in my heart. And I did have a lot of options to choose from, right? I did see the CBR 650s, I saw the Suzukis. I did even consider going for an off-roader as well. But there are a few things which I really liked about this bike when I changed my mind to actually go to the Kawasaki Z900 series. One, in the inline 4 category, I would say this is the best performing vehicle out there. And considering the budget and the power it packs in for a 948cc, I think it's the best in the segment. Second is, if you look at overall reliability and the Kawasaki's maintenance and the way they do the service, I think it's the best across in India, according to my opinion, compared to all the others which I come across. So having that in mind, I picked up this, and here I'm going to tell you a few things I really liked about the bike, right? One aspect is it's the posture and the height of the vehicle, right? So anyone at 5'9", 5'10" could easily, comfortably ride this bike for a really long distance, right? And since we don't require much of advanced electronics like cruise control or something, this is something which balances the difference between full electronics and that to have partial electronics, which is most important and which is sufficient rather for the bike. As you take this bike for a long tour, I mean, having done 800 plus kilometers, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind. One is the ergonomics of the bike is done in such a way that it's meant for more of straight roads rather than off-roading roads. So you will see a little bit of discomfort when you start taking the bike a little towards the off-road side. And also the clearance on the bike is 145 mm down, so those rough humps that you come across in typical Indian highways, it's something that you need not worry, because nothing touches at the bottom, because I've zoomed through those humps and it never ever touched at the bottom, because all the bikers have one primary fear of owning a super bike is the bottom touching over the humps. However, having said that, now when it comes to the pillion seat, right, this bike is not recommended for anyone to sit on the pillion ride. Maybe a few kilometers within the city, probably you can accommodate someone here, but it's not recommended that anyone sits at the pillion on this. Also on the accessories part of what gear you can carry, it's ideal that you put a tail bag on this. Having a box fitting or any of those accessories, I would not recommend on this, because the bike is really not shaped or designed for it, right? And also coming to the suspension over the humps with the pillion rider, if you have someone above 80 kilos, there are a couple of times where I've encountered the bottom plate actually touches the humps. So that is something that you need to keep in mind. So you have a pillion rider, that's when you'll have to be a little careful about how you're going through those humps, right? And the other aspect to that entire off-roading paces, when I did a last stretch near Chikmagalur, right, and what I noticed was we had to go through a lot of muddy patches and muddy roads. So having realized that we do have the sports tires on the bike and it's not meant for off-roading, I was surprised the way this bike actually pulled off. The ABS and the traction control both kicked in really well, and I could pretty much smash through the entire wetlands and the muddy roads patches, and it went on for about 5-6 kilometers one way, and it could easily take it. I was surprised the way it could handle it. One additional advantage is also the height, maybe, because even if you want, let's say, some leg support, it's quite easy for you to actually reach out on both the sides, right? It's quite, see, I'm 5'10", and on both the sides I'm able to easily reach out. So that gives you that confidence of slightly taking the bike off the road as well. So coming to the highway performance, what can I say about this bike? Z900 is an absolute beast on the highway. The whole reason that the Naked series have a curve of acceleration which literally just goes like that. So reaching 170s, 180s is just a matter of few seconds. 5 seconds, you're there already, right? That's the beauty about the Naked series and the power it generates. Having said that, I would say the cruise speed on highways is you can do in 160, 170 comfortably. You will not feel that you are being pushed or you're pushing the bike too hard. You get that comfort saying that yes, this is my comfort zone. So I would say the speed spot is around 160, 170. That's where it is, where it performs really well. And with that, the heating, I would say, on the Z900 is something that you'll have to keep in mind inside the city and not on the highway. The reason is the more wind gets exposed, the cooler the engine gets because of the radiators in the front. You would see a lot of heat issues when you're traveling at slower speeds on lower gears inside the city rather than on higher speeds on the highway, right? You would see about 70-75 degrees Celsius at the max, even if you're going at 170, 180. And you would see 100 plus inside the city. That is something that you'll have to keep in mind. So this is not a bike that you ride with shorts on. You should never do that. So otherwise the heat dissipation it's pretty well done. The bike performs really, really well. When it comes to taking breaks, I don't see that you can hit about 200 kilometers without non-stop on this. That's the highway efficiency, I would say, and it will not tire you, because if you are going at that speed, if you're talking about 2 hours of a ride, which you can easily cruise through and go about it. One thing you have to keep in mind is these are the stock mirrors that I have. And it somehow doesn't give you a very clear view of what's on the rear side. So I'm looking for alternatives as of now. This is something that you may have to consider, putting probably an oval or a round, a larger area of mirror space so that you get a clear view of what's behind you. That's one thing you'll have to keep in mind. And the Z900 also doesn't come with the portable USB charger. So for those long roads, when you have your maps on and your battery is draining, you will have to consider putting a additional USB charging slot. Otherwise the highway journey will be a little troublesome for you if you are especially guided through the maps. Folks, when it comes to accessories, there are a few things that I've added to this. Bikenbikers have helped me with few of the things which I require. One is, of course, the front fork sliders, just to have your front side wheel protection to be done. And the radiator guard is a must, I would say, because when you're cruising at 170, 200 speeds, those small pebbles could be just small bullets to the radiator, which would really impact the engine, the radiator. So the radiator guard which I've put here is Evotech, and it's really good. And these spools also are Evotech. And for the wind blast, I had considered two in mind. The one you see here is the Puig windshield for Z900. There is also a taller one, which is about 8 centimeters taller than this. If you feel that you need more wind protection, I basically went for this because the looks are really good. The taller one is the RNG version of it, which is also pretty good looking with a smoke screen. And I did put a mobile charger. And one, as our pointers, do consider changing the side mirrors, as you don't get to see the entire rear view of the road. You don't need much any other accessories. So when it comes to services, the first services is something that comes at around 1,000 kilometers. Then the second is 6,000 and thereon for the next 5 services, so 6, 12, 18 and so on. And each one of the services would cost about 8,000. So this has gone through the first service, but I already know from my friends who have Z900 as well, it remains between 8 to 10k for every services. That is what you would see as a service cost on the bike. And one thing you'll have to keep in mind is the Kawasaki, when you give a service, what they do is the wear and tears of the bikes and the engine oil change, that is something that they will look into it. If you're expecting a clean wash of the bike, that is something that the Kawasaki service, they don't do it for you. That's completely up to you. That's pretty much on the services.
You watched the video till here and you finally decided to pick up a super naked. It can be a Z900, a street triple, or any other motorcycles in the market, right? But again, you're a little confused on what kind of luggage you want to mount on this motorcycle. Well, that's the reason we are here at Bikenbiker. Do contact us, www.bikenbiker.com. We have most of the products listed on our website, and we have some really good stuff for the Z900 and the street triples as well. Do check them out. We would like to thank Vishnu, who spent a little bit of time on giving his ownership experience of the Z900 to you guys. So hats off to him to riding down here to the shooting spot. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you all like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. My name is Ajit. I'll see you guys in the next one.